Before we start the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell button so you can get all the new content from us. A whole year has passed since the events of the first movie, my friend. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out before diving into this one. And here we are on the new Purge day of the year 2023. Right now, we see a girl named Ava working at a cafe, and one of her co-workers, Carlos, is talking to her. It's clear that he's into her, but in a boring way. The workday ends, and everyone heads home to hide because the purge is about to start. Ava goes home, and at the entrance of her building, she runs into her annoying neighbor, Diego. Diego, by the way, has had a crush on Ava for a long time, but she doesn't pay him any attention. Today, he keeps offering to protect her, but Ava refuses and heads up to the apartment where she lives with her father, Rico, and her daughter, Callie. And we find out that they are very poor, to the point where Rico yells at Ava for getting him the medicine, saying that he's going to die anyway, so the expense is unnecessary. But Ava and Callie convince him that he needs to take the medicine. He calms down and tells them he's going to sleep through the whole purge and doesn't want anyone to wake him. He kisses them and goes to bed. But the truth is, Rico doesn't sleep. Instead, he puts on his best clothes, leaves a note, and sneaks out, getting into a very fancy car. I'd tell you where he's going, but let's save that for later. For now, we switch over to a couple named Shane and Liz, who are currently in a market, picking up some supplies before the purge begins. They head to their car to leave, but before they do, a masked young man from a city gang bumps into Shane. He stares at both Shane and Liz for a moment, then walks away. They don't understand what's happening, but they start feeling uneasy. So they quickly get into the car and drive home. While on the way, the car suddenly breaks down and stops. Shane gets out to check and realizes the car was sabotaged. Before he can figure out who did it, they see the same masked young man and his gang behind them. They realize it was them and that they'll follow them until the purge starts. At this point, as for Callie, she went to wake her grandfather, only to be shocked that he wasn't there. She found the letter he left behind, and she read it with Ava. In the letter, they discover that, unfortunately, Grandpa Rico sold himself to a wealthy family to be killed on Purge Day. In return, they would give $100,000 to Ava and Callie. Rico explains that he loves them and is doing this for their sake. The money would arrive the next day, allowing them to start a new life away from poverty. Of course, Ava and Callie are devastated and can't believe it. On the other side, we see Rico at the wealthy family's home, and they are getting their weapons ready to kill him. Meanwhile, Ava and Callie, still in shock over their grandfather's decision. They hear a strange noise outside, so they check it out and are shocked to see people dressed like soldiers entering the building. Before they can figure out who they are, Diego, who I mentioned earlier, shows up in their apartment, planning to assault and kill them. But before he can act, he hears a noise from another room and goes to check it out. He doesn't get far, as someone shoots him. The shooters turn out to be the soldiers. After dealing with Diego, they search the apartment, find Ava and Callie, and they quickly contacts their leader, Big Daddy, who's waiting in a car outside. They inform him that two girls are about to be kidnapped, and they drag them to the street, trying to force them into the truck. Ava and Callie resist, trying to escape. At the same time, Leo arrives by chance and almost decides to leave, but he can't. He grabs his weapon, heads to the street, and starts taking out the soldiers. He even shoots their leader, Big, and takes him down. After that, Leo decides not to leave Ava and Callie behind, taking them to his car for safety. But when he opens the car, he finds Shane and Liz inside, still trying to escape from earlier. Leo was about to leave, but they begged him to take them along. So he agreed. They all got in the car and drove off. Big Daddy regained consciousness and started shooting at the car with a heavy weapon, but Leo managed to escape. Unfortunately, they didn't get far before the car broke down. Everyone got out, and Leo told Iva and Callie that he had an important mission and couldn't take them with him. He gave them weapons to defend themselves and started to leave. Iva tells Leo she has a solution if he takes her, Callie, Liz, and Shane to her friend Tania's house nearby. Tania will give him a new car to replace the one that was destroyed so he can continue his mission. Leo agrees, but first, he gives Iva a phone to call Tania and see if she's willing to help. Iva calls and Tania agrees. They all get in, and Leo drives them toward Tania's house. On the way, they encounter a crazy woman standing on a building with a gun, shooting at anyone passing by. They stop, unsure how to proceed without getting killed, and start thinking of a way around her. Shane spots a street and suggests they take it, but as soon as they move, he steps into a trap and shots start coming from multiple directions. Leo bravely takes out everyone attacking them, and Shane manages to free his leg and stand up, unharmed. They quickly regroup and continue. A little later, while walking, they come across a parked truck like the one Big Daddy's men used. Inside, everyone is dead, all in military gear. It's clear they weren't regular people but soldiers. They check the truck and find military ammo and surveillance equipment, things only the government would use. The real shock. Maps with marked targets including Iva's building. This wasn't random at all, it was a planned operation. At that moment, Callie remembers seeing a video by a human rights activist named Camilo, who claimed that the military uses Purge Day to kill as many poor people as possible, reducing the population to control wealth. She shares this with the group, realizing the horrifying truth. They start realizing that Camilo was right, and Callie even suspects that Camilo and his group were the ones who attacked and destroyed the truck. Especially since Camilo's group's symbol is painted on the wall next to it. Despite how logical Callie's theory sounds, no one really dwells on it. They just grab as many weapons as they can from the truck and keep moving toward Tania's house. While walking, they come across a brutal gang killing people in the street. They hide, but then a rat steps on Liz's foot, and she panics. The gang hears the noise, but Leo quickly takes them down before they can act. After that, the group continues on their way. The group heads into the subway tunnel to continue on their way. As they walk, they hear a noise and discover a group of poor people hiding in the tunnel. They don't bother them and move on. Not long after, a gang shows up in a car, shooting everywhere. Leo and the group panic and start running, as do the people who are hiding. The gang shows no mercy, killing everyone in cold blood, even burning some. This pushes Liz and Shane over the edge. They know if they keep running, the gang will catch them, so they gather their courage and start firing back. Shane gets injured, but they manage to take down the entire gang. They finally make it to Tania's house, and she immediately lets them in. Tania is sitting with her family, and they warmly welcome everyone, offering food and drinks, though no one seems interested. Leo sits down to tend to his wounds, and then he starts preparing his weapons again, as he's planning to take the new car and head out on his mission, which we still don't know much about. After a while, Tania's father arrives. Tania's brother-in-law shows up in military gear, which raises some suspicion, but no one says much. Leo asks Tania's dad for a new shirt, and he tells him where to find one. While getting the clothes, Leo sees Tania in the bathroom taking pills, which makes him uneasy. He tells Iva what he saw and warns her to be careful around Tania and her family. He also asks her to get the car ready so they can leave, but Iva shocks him by admitting that Tania and her family don't even have a car. She admits she lied to get Leo to protect them. Leo is furious when he finds out they tricked him, especially since he was only out tonight for his son. He's about to leave everyone behind when chaos breaks out. Tania's sister Lauren catches Tania talking to her husband and, in a fit of rage, pulls out a gun and kills Tania. She then tries to kill her husband, having found out earlier that he and Tania were having an affair. Her husband, who's also armed, grabs Liz and threatens to kill her if Lauren doesn't stop. Leo steps in just in time, shooting Lauren's husband twice in the leg. He drops to the ground, and Liz is freed. Leo quickly gathers everyone, and they flee from Tania's house. Just before they head outside, they hear one of the army trucks approaching. Leo quickly tells everyone to stay inside the building while he sneaks out through the back. Big Daddy and a group of soldiers arrive, and he orders his men to kill Leo for taking down 2 of their soldiers. They move in to storm the building, but Leo is faster. He leads everyone out through the back, helping them jump over a fence and into another building. Leo stays behind to cover them and only jumps over once he knows they're safe. But then, he's suddenly captured by the masked gang that had been chasing Shane and Liz earlier. The gang also captures Iva, Shane, Callie, and Liz. However, this gang doesn't kill anyone, they just hand them over to another group in exchange for money. This new group takes Leo and the others to a strange theater where a crowd of rich people is gathered. An older woman, who seems to be the organizer, steps forward and explains that on Purge night, she brings in the wealthy to bid on captured people, like Leo and the others, so they can kill them for sport. The auction begins, and 7 wealthy people are chosen to enter and kill Leo and the others. Leo, Iva, and the group are taken to a dark maze-like area with no lights. Soon after, the rich hunters, equipped with weapons and night vision goggles, come in and start hunting them one by one. But Leo isn't willing to give up. He moves through the maze, taking out one of the hunters and grabbing his weapon. Before he can catch his breath, another one appears, but Leo manages to take him down too. He keeps moving through the maze until he encounters 2 female hunters. After a tough fight, Leo finally defeats them. Leo brings the weapons back to the group, hoping they can help defend themselves. But before anyone can react, a large group of armed wealthy people storms in, ready to finish them off. At that moment, they all think they're about to die, and just as Shane is shot and killed, everyone loses hope, thinking it's the end. But then, out of nowhere, Camilo's army, the one we mentioned earlier, shows up. He's gathered a massive group of people who are against the Purge. They storm in, taking down the wealthy killers and freeing people like Leo and the others who are being hunted for sport. Among Camilo's army is Dante, the strange man from James' house, if you remember. After what he witnessed there, Dante decided to join Camilo's fight against the rich who kill the poor without remorse. Camilo tells Leo and the group to leave, as he'll continue the fight against the wealthy, and it won't be easy. Leo and the others agree, except for Liz, who's too shocked to leave Shane's body. Dante and Camilo reassure her that she'll be safe with them, and she thanks them before Leo takes Iva and Callie to leave. As they head out, they encounter the filthy woman again. The party organizer tries to escape in her car, but Leo pulls her out by force. He considers killing her but decides to let her go and takes the car instead. Leo, Iva, and Callie drive away, heading toward a house. Once they arrive, Leo explains that this house belongs to the man who recklessly hit and killed his son a year ago. The man got away with it, despite being at fault, and this is the person Leo has been hunting since the start of the Purge. Leo enters the house, confronts the man and his wife, and is about to kill him. But what happens next is left unclear, as we don't see what Leo decides to do. As Leo leaves the house, he's shot twice and badly injured by Big Daddy, who had been tracking him the whole time. Big Daddy tells Leo he's going to finish him off, but before he can, the man from the house shoots and kills Big Daddy. We then realize that Leo couldn't bring himself to kill the man, even though he had killed Leo's son. The man repays Leo by saving his life. Just as Big Daddy's soldiers arrive, ready to kill everyone, the Purge siren sounds, signaling the end of the Purge. In a rush, the man helps Leo, Iva, and Callie get to the hospital to save Leo's life. And with the Purge over, Leo is going to be fine. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. You won't want to miss any upcoming breakdowns. And hey, what movie or series should I cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below.